In a small attic room cluttered with crumpled drafts, broken pencils, and long-forgotten dreams, a boy once whispered to himself, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." The words were quiet, but they echoed across the walls, across the years, across the hearts of millions who have tasted the bitterness of disappointment and mistaken it for the flavor of defeat. But here is a truth as stubborn as the dawn. Failing is an act, not an identity. To fail is to attempt something brave and miss. To be a failure is to surrender your story halfway through the chapter. And those two things are not the same, not even close. Our culture, unfortunately, has cast failure as a villain. It's the red mark on a test, the rejection letter from a dream job, the relationship that fell apart, the startup that never took off. Failure, we are taught, is something to be ashamed of, to be hidden, to be avoided at all costs. So we construct our lives like safety nets, never stretching too far, never risking too much. We call it caution, but sometimes it's just fear wearing a tie. But what if we've been taught the wrong story? What if failure is not a shadow that stalks us, but a teacher that shapes us? We hear of Steve Jobs launching Apple and changing the world. But not often enough do we hear of him being fired from the very company he built. That failure led to the creation of Pixar and, eventually, his triumphant return to Apple. It was, by all definitions, a detour that led to destiny. We know Oprah Winfrey as an empire of grace and influence. Few remember she was once fired from her first television job for being unfit for TV. Imagine if she had taken that label and let it define her. These aren't exceptions. These are the rule, if only we were honest about it. The world is built on the bricks of broken plans. And those who dare to keep building are the ones who eventually change everything. Failure has a strange alchemy to it. It burns, yes, but in that fire, we are refined. When we fail, we meet ourselves, not the version polished for public approval, but the raw, aching soul beneath. We learn what we care about enough to try again. We learn what doesn't matter as much as we thought it did. And sometimes, we discover the thing we were meant to do was waiting behind the door that wouldn't open. There's a quiet, defiant magic in trying again. To fail means you showed up. You risked. You stepped into the ring. That in itself is a kind of success most people are too afraid to taste. There's a wonderful quote, often misattributed but deeply true. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Failure is not where the story ends, it's where the plot thickens. It's where the hero hits rock bottom before the climb. Think of every story that has moved you. Did the protagonist win on the first try? Of course not. That wouldn't be a story. That would be a commercial. Life is not a highlight reel. It's a novel. And sometimes the chapters that hurt the most are the ones that prepare us for the ones we'll one day love to reread. What if we took the word failure back? What if we wore it with pride? I failed could become a badge of courage, a sign that we pushed past comfort and tried something extraordinary. I failed could mean I dared, I believed, I grew. The only true failure is not to try, or worse, to succeed at something that doesn't matter to you, just because it was safer. So let us fail gloriously, messily, repeatedly. Let us fail forward. Let us turn our mistakes into stories, our missteps into music, our cracked pottery into gold-laced art. Let us teach our children that perfection is a myth and that resilience is the true measure of greatness. Let us look in the mirror, not with judgment, but with awe, and say, "You have failed before, and you will again." And each time, you will rise a little stronger. Because you are not your lowest moment. You are not the job you didn't get. You are not the business that collapsed. You are not the relationship that ended. You are not a failure. You are becoming. And becoming is messy, and beautiful, and brave.